Hi guys, it's Sophie. Today we're going to do it standing up, just for a bit of a change. And today we're going to be talking about 5 tips to shrink your TBR or, fingers crossed, absolutely wipe that thing out. So as some of you guys already know, I completed the 0x16 challenge. So I managed in the year of 2016 to read all of the books that I owned and to give myself a 0 TBR. I currently don't maintain a 0 TBR throughout the year. I, at any one time, have sort of between 10 and 20 books that I have to read that I've yet to get to. So at the moment I think I have 11, but one of my rules we'll speak about later is that those books, they rotate, they change. So the first rule that we're going to talk about is called the 50-page rule, and this one helped me so much. So what I said to myself on embarking on reading any of the books I had on my TBR, and I get it, those books are intimidating, they've been there for a long time, you've been looking at them, it's been 3 years since we bought it. But I gave myself 50 pages and I said, if I'm not enjoying this by 50 pages, if I don't want to carry on within 50 pages, then I don't have to, then there's no obligation, there's no guilt, there's no pressure. That book can go away, I can give it to someone else because someone else is going to find enjoyment, and actually that's normally a fair shout, that's normally a fair amount of a book to read to know whether or not you are even vaguely enjoying it, and I was quite strict with myself on that. If I wasn't enjoying it, despite what I heard, by 50 pages it was gone. The next rule I use, I think is really helpful, is to think about whether or not you'd rebuy that book. So if you are thinking about doing unhauls as part of your reducing your TBR, then this is really helpful. So when you're looking over your books, are there any books that you just want to be rid of? So you're looking at them and the only reason they're there is because you feel some kind of sort of pressure to read it, that you feel as though you've bought it and you'd be wasting your money otherwise. If so, that's probably not a book that you need to keep, it's probably not a book that you need to read. I don't think necessarily throw all of them away, because I think sometimes there are things that play in that maybe you've forgotten about, or maybe you were interested in and not anymore, or not at the moment, and that's absolutely fine. You know, I left a fair few of my books because I had no interest to start with, but I felt as though I might in future. But if you're looking at that book and all you're seeing is a task, you don't need it in your life. Reading's fun. Don't make it not fun. The next thing I think is really vital and is one of the reasons why I did do so well, and really one of the main reasons why I even vaguely thought I was going to manage it, is something really easy, and that is moving your books around and making them exciting again for you. So we all have this sort of thought in our head, I think, when we have big TBRs, that we put them on our shelves, we have a TBR pile, but they become just boring. We bought them a long time ago, there's no excitement there anymore. So what I tried to do when I was doing my 0x16 is to bring that back. So that meant that I hid some of my books. I would take them off my shelves, I'd hide them behind other things. And then 2 months later, I got to go through and I got to haul in my head these new books. And I was much more excited for them then than I ever was when they were just sitting there and I could look at them. Also turn them round, switch the covers up, look at them, sort of read the synopses. Don't just have them there as a static thing. They should be books that you are telling yourself you're hauling again and again, and that will sort of reinvigorate you and put you back into that mood. Another tip I think that is really invaluable is about, again, reigniting what you wanted from that book to start with, and that might be reading sort of reviews of that book. I think that can help an awful lot, seeing what was positive and what really inspired you to buy it to start with, or potentially reading books that are similar. So I don't think that you should only read your TBR. I don't think that 0 hauls and trying to do your TBR is a good idea. I just think it's too hard. I tried that. It's tough because it feels more like a deprivation. It shouldn't feel like a deprivation. It should feel like you're getting to read the books you bought, and it shouldn't be a negative thing. So in my opinion, mixing up new books with the old books is really valuable. So if you are going to buy a book, let's say that you choose a new exciting sci-fi release, okay, brilliant, you've got that new exciting sci-fi release, and pair that with one of the sci-fi that's sitting on your shelf that you haven't gotten around to. Compare the two, work it up, gain the excitement from this new sci-fi and add it into the sci-fi you've had for a while. I think hearing someone speak passionately about a book that you've lost interest in is one of the best ways to reignite your interest in that book. And I would really highly recommend that you are seeking out positive reviews for books that you think you might enjoy, but you just don't feel any drive towards it, because that will really wake up your desire to go and read that one. And I've saved my favourite one for last, because I still do this now. It's been nearly 6 months since I finished it, and I don't think I could go back another way, and this is how I used to read all the time when I was a kid. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this is for everyone, and it may be that you want to just do it to see if you can, and after that you're happy to let your TBR build up again. But if you want to keep a small TBR long term, my number one tip would be this: that the books you purchase in any given month need to be done by the end of the month following no excuses. So what I don't think is good, why I think my TBR built up so much, was that I was buying new books, and that was fine. But what I would do is I would read, I don't know, maybe a third of those new books, and 2/3 would go back into circulation again, because I was overbuying that. But that's essentially what it was. I was overbuying, but I didn't have the capacity to read all the books I was buying, so they would go back on the shelf. And then I wouldn't read them the month after, because I'd be so busy reading the third of the books that I bought the next month. And what you end up with is an ongoing list of books that you just don't have the time or capacity to read. And I believe that as the time between purchase and reading sort of elapses, the interest wanes, and I think getting books in there when they're hot and exciting and you've just bought them, so you're really excited, genuinely makes the reading experience better. I think for those of you who want a 0 TBR, for those of you who are seeing it as a challenge, it's not impossible. I had 76 books, so I know it's not the biggest TBR you've ever heard of, but it's still fairly large. I had a full bookshelf that was just my TBR books when I started, and I got rid of all of them. And it's one of the things I am most proud of that I've done in my time sort of with BookTube, around BookTube, because I think it got me to a place where I'm reading the way I want to be again. I like that I can haul a book and I can show you why I'm excited for it, and that by the end of that month, 90% of the time I can tell you what I thought. Now 0x16, read your own damn books, is not for everyone, and I'm not saying that there is a wrong way to do this and a right way to do this at all. I very much understand the sort of feeling of having your own library and being able to choose from between your shelves, you know, what's really exciting for you at that time, and to have a really great selection of things to pick from. I really do understand that, and if you like reading that way, then that is absolutely completely utterly up to you. That's not something that I would ever say is bad or that you need to change. This video is more directed towards people who have made the decision that they do want to have a lower or a 0 TBR. I hope that you've gained some hints and tips in this video, and maybe you'll be employing them for your own sort of efforts. Do let me know how it goes, because it's super intriguing just to see how people cope with this sort of challenge. I think I find it very interesting, so do let me know. I hope you've had a really lovely day, and I will see you soon in my next video, which is likely going to be a mental health video, so look forward to that. Bye bye.